It's time. It's August. We got less than a month left for Burning Man. And I know I vlog all these things and I never actually cut them out. I never turn them into actual vlogs. I always just record what I'm doing. One day I'll redo all this stuff and relive the moments when I'm missing Burning Man, because this might actually be the last Burning Man that we're gonna be at for a while. Because we're getting married, probably gonna have kids, and I don't think bringing an infant to the playa is the smartest idea. I'm really sad, man. I really don't want to not go to Burning Man anymore, but we all gotta grow up, right? I think 5 years straight is pretty good. That's half a decade. This year, we've got a lot of changes, right? No more Hexiert. No more Hexiert. Sick of that shit, sick of bringing it up, sick of hauling that stuff around, fixing it. I'm gonna try to sell those. And this year, we got a Shiftpod. Eddie pulled through, was able to get 3 of them for a third of the price. I know we also got the Siesta tent. The thing is, Shiftpod, Siesta tent, they don't compare in terms of size, convenience, you know. I actually think that the Siesta tent performs better. I'll tell you why. Maybe I'll record all this stuff and then I'll actually do a comparison video. But you can't beat the Shiftpod's convenience of being a pop-up tent. You can be 6.5 feet tall. You could stand up straight inside of it. I mean, it's a big-ass house. It's like 166 square feet. Actually want another point of reference, you can get an H12 Hexiert, and that is the same amount of size. H12s require 12 of insulation panels. And you just don't want to bring all of that to the playa, right? This thing fits in a huge body bag. It's about the size of a snowboard bag, maybe a little bit taller, and it just pops up. It's so easy. I mean, there's not a lot of reviews on YouTube for a Shiftpod, but there's plenty of assembly videos. Oh yeah, the other thing is, I want to tell you, the Shiftpod is not an end-all product. I know everybody puts this thing on a pedestal about it being like, you know, because it's 1,500 bucks, it'll solve all your playa needs. You can basically buy or burn with this thing. You can't, okay? So it was the first year of Camp EDC. I know Advanced Shelter Systems dispatched a whole bunch of Shiftpods. Like, that was the thing you were gonna sleep in. And I'm sure all of them are saying, dude, that thing is so fucking awesome. It's wonderful, it's wonderful. You know why? Because they had huge generators and air conditioning in each one of them. So of course it's gonna be nice. If you don't have a generator, if you don't have air conditioner, it's basically an oven. You're gonna cook. You can't just buy a Shiftpod and expect it to be everything when you go on the playa. You need to have airflow. You need something to cool it down. Anyway, what I've been working on is trying to keep the Shiftpod cool inside. We went camping last week, and while every other tent was 120 degrees inside, ours was 90, 98, 97. We didn't put any fans on, and actually I had the Siesta tent next to it. The Siesta tent worked because you can zip up those huge fans that it comes with right on the wall. So when you sleep right on the middle, it's pumping air through the whole thing onto you, and it cools you down. My cousins were able to take a nap in it, so I was pretty jealous about that. But for us, we're bringing a ton of fans. I don't want a generator because I really don't want to use a generator on the playa. I don't want to deal with it. And I've already bought my burn by getting the damn Shiftpod. Let's try to earn it a little bit more. And I also just don't want to stay inside the Shiftpod while there's so much on the playa to do, you know? But at least sleeping until about 11, 12, hopefully will be enough. We bought like, I don't know, 8 to 10 fans or something like that. You'll see, because today we're going to be setting up the Shiftpod. And this is, I mean, we've been working on this for a while for doing Burning Man prep, but I think this is actually the most interesting stuff this week. So we're going to try to vlog the rest of the time leading up to Burning Man this year by starting off with this. All right, that was a really long intro, wasn't it? So I haven't really been showing much of what I've been buying because I've been wanting to test everything out. So this is the box of stuff. So we got 2 Arctic air coolers. I know they're not swamp coolers, but I didn't want to deal with swamp coolers this year. And I think these things only run on 5 watts. I'm not good at electrical, so I don't really know what the power draw is. I know they run on 5 watts. I have solar panels that run on 28 watts. And I just learned that there's actually an inefficient multiplier. Only 23% of whatever the wattage is what you actually get in the output. Fuck it, man, just fucking use it, you know? Cheryl actually put this on with one of these small fans, and they both worked, right? So we're gonna have one of these pumping into the Shiftpod to get the outside air, because there's 2 holes for the air conditioner, but we're gonna use one of these instead to circulate airflow. And then these things are actually small swamp coolers. You put water on the side over here, and then water will pump through on the side. It goes down here. And these little like phalanges, I don't know what the hell they're called, they will absorb water into the top, and there's a big fan in the back. So let me see if I can just pull this out for you. You can take a look. It's actually a really simple, impressive design. See, it's just a big fan, like a small, simple evaporative cooler. Much easier than making a bucket swamp cooler. I'm sure the bucket swamp cooler will work a lot better. Last year my version sucked because I think it was a really low CFM. Probably if I was like 200, I think mine was 120 CFM. If it was like over 200, it would have worked better. But I also think the power draw would have been worse. I don't want to deal with it anymore. I just want solar. I don't want to deal with batteries and stuff. At least no car batteries anymore. So we've got two Arctic Airs that's going to be running inside to cool down the whole thing. We've got a small 10-inch fan. When we really need to air things out, this runs off 6D batteries. And then we have a couple of these, which will hang off the top and will hang off the ceiling, and it doubles up as a light. So we've got light and we've got fans. So we're gonna have a ton of fans inside. So hopefully we'll be able to sleep past 9 a.m. this year. It's gonna be hot this year, right? Here's the garage. Hella messy, hella full. Can't fit a car in here anymore. All the camping equipment's all over the place. Ugh. Haven't been able to squat at all. There's the magic shoes. I'm gonna be bringing these out to the playa again. Here's the pool noodles. I'm gonna be using these for the Shiftpod. And yeah. Alright, let's do a test. So, I bought a bunch of solar panel USBs. We're gonna test them out and see if you can actually run the Arctic Air and a fan at the same time. Got these three. I think this one might be a 21 watt. These two say they're 28. They look exactly the same. Probably the same manufacturer. But we're gonna go plug them in and see if you can hear the fans run. That's the old one, used for the first version of our swamp coolers. It's got two USB ports in it. So one's plugged in. Got the other fan going. This has two settings also, so we can see how many speeds we'll work on. Alright. Oh yeah. This has to face the sun in order to get some energy, right? This still works, trust me. I used it last week. This is the low setting. This is high. I don't know if you can hear that with the microphone. But we'll have that run on high and turn this on. And then we're just gonna turn this on right now. So lights on. I don't know if you can see that. It's on high also. So I actually think this works. This is gonna go. So got the 20-ish watt solar panel. Got this guy running, and this is running as well. It's on high. I don't know if you can see the light. You can hear it. All right, let's swap it out for these two to make sure that they're working as well. I don't know if you could hear it through this mic, but they're all running correctly. They're all running at full power. It's working. Let's see if you can hear some of the wind. So it's gonna work. We're gonna have a cooling system going into the Shiftpod. I've got this 28 solar panel, 40 bucks on Amazon, running this USB fan at the highest setting, including this thing, which is, I think it runs off of 5 volts. All right, so first things first, we're going to set up camp. We're gonna figure out what we can fit inside the Shiftpod. We're also gonna be working on making a crown out of pool noodles. We got the white pool noodles over here. What that's gonna do is it's going to make a space between the blast shield and the roof of the Shiftpod. And hopefully that will trap air in between. The problem with the blast shield is it sits right on top of the ceiling of the Shiftpod, and because of that, there's actually no space for heat to get trapped other than inside the shift pod. So that's what the whole point is. We're gonna stage, see what we need to, what else to bring or whatever we need to prepare for when we get on the playa, and we're also trying to make some kind of heat shield, I guess. The idea is we're gonna try to keep it to the way that the Siesta 4 tent is, right? There's like a layer of heat on the top that reflects away the sun and on the ceiling of the actual tent, and the heat just stays right in between, and then you can actually sleep underneath it. So we're gonna try to mimic that just for the Shiftpod as well.
Hello, this is Jeff. He is going to be unzipping the bag and then removing the tent, and then we'll do a demonstration for us.
Okay, so we've got pool noodles with some zip tie and rope at the ends, both sides. This is gonna go across the top from this angle to the center. It's gonna be kind of like a halo. We're gonna have all the one end all connected together, and then it'll spread out to all the corners, and that should provide enough space in between for the blast shield to have some air. So we just did the pool noodle idea, and I don't think it's gonna work. You can barely even see that there's space in between the blast shield and the shift pod. It does drown out a lot of light, which is still good, but I don't think there's enough space in between for the heat to escape. You know, we've got it on different, we have the rebar on different distances to see if like any air can pass through underneath, and it seems the further it is, the tighter it is, it's more secure, but it also traps heat at the top. Yeah, even if we crown this thing, I don't think it's actually gonna work. So I actually think the monkey hood idea is gonna be better. We're probably gonna have to figure out a different design for that. I don't even know about using the blast shield at all, because it's just, I don't know. There's not enough space in between the ceiling and the actual blast shield. We still got about 3 weeks. So it's evening. You're not gonna get to see a good example of how the air conditioning and stuff is gonna work, but just give you a tour to see what it's like inside. The solar panels do work. It just needs direct sunlight. So just because it's daytime doesn't mean it's actually gonna power the solar panels. You gotta make sure that the sun is facing directly towards the panels. So we did that by having these things directly to the sun, but I don't think there's enough actual sunlight hours to feed enough anymore. But everything is being fed underneath, right here, the utility tube. We got 2 fans pumping in to where the air conditioner is supposed to be. All right, so let's go inside. Here's the inside of the shift pod. We've got fans at the top circulating air around. They're on low right now, but we'll probably have to blast them high later. Each of the vents have air filters to keep the dust out. There's our refrigerator, our entrance. I actually think that back entrance is going to be blocked off, right?
Yep.
This is our bed on one side, just like in the old Hexiert. So we've got the fans pumping in. All the solar panels coming outside there. We've got the Arctic air coolers here. They will work, they just have to have direct sunlight to the power, the solar panels, and they'll pump out all that cool air. We've also got a 10-inch fan. Lots of fans. No generators. Our shelving for storage. Cheryl's, what do you call this?
Vanity.
Her vanity. She had to have a table. This is actually an old swamp cooler, so if we really get desperate, we can have a swamp cooler. We just have to put ice in it and it'll work. Got the mirror because every girl has to have a mirror. That's it. We'll have some lights installed across the top of the ceilings, but now we actually know how to stage the entire shift pod. So this is basically what it's gonna look like on the playa. We just gotta figure out how to provide more shade for the shift pod because it gets really hot in this thing. It really does. It absorbs so much heat.